You're welcome back. Some update for you. There was a truck accident on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway today that caused some serious traffic. According to preliminary reports, from the FRSC, the incident occurred at 5:55 a.m. on the Otedola Bridge. People involved, there are two people involved in the accident. Nobody was injured and nobody was killed, thank God. The number of vehicles involved, just one vehicle was involved, and the traffic has been diverted to one lane to ease flow. Agencies involved, FRSC, LASMA, and police. Action taken, the truck has been towed off the road. Lagos is working, isn't it? Thank God, that no life was lost. Thank God that, for everything that happens, there are lessons to be learned. So I hope the driver has learned a lesson, and I hope that all other road users have learned a lesson. All right, we'll just be going straight to the papers to see what they're serving for breakfast this morning. I'm always delighted to read the Punch newspaper for a start. Well, the above the nameplate of the Sun newspaper, Sun birth to launch 70,000 metric tons of cocoa and 80,000 metric tons of cashew processing plants in March of 2027. So that's one good thing to look forward to. Back in the day, Nigeria was rich because we had the groundnut pyramid and we had a lot of cocoa, we had, cashew and all of that. I think it's time to diversify and look slightly away from our oil, because what if one day we wake up and our oil wells are dry? Where will we be? So yeah, this is a step in the right direction. 2027, Jonathan considers comeback as court hears eligibility suit today. Okoyemi, that's for you to analyze. What do you think about this?
They were concerned youths that paid the former president a visit in his office yesterday in Abuja in Maitama, and quite a number of them. They had placards: Jonathan, come and save Nigeria. Jonathan, come and contest this and that and that. And the first question I asked is that what is Jonathan? What did he leave behind in Aso Rock that he wants to go and pick? And he also came out to address the crowd. And one thing I respect about him is, at every opportunity he gets, he's always preaching about the peace of this country. Beautiful elder statesman, by the way. And he went on with, the young people don't come out to vote. We have a large voting population. People barely come out. He was talking about all of those. And it was obvious that he was buying the bait that was thrown at him. So at the end of it, he said, I'm going to consult and I'm going to make my decision known. So he didn't actually say, I'm not going into it. And then he made a statement that contesting for the president is not video game that I can just jump into. That he's going to speak to the people. But one thing is sure. The NDC, the party, the national chairman of the NDC is Jonathan's political son, the former governor of his state, that's Senator Seraki Dixon. We know the relationship that exists between both of them. In fact, there are words on the streets that Jonathan are part of the people that midwifed the approval of the NDC. In 2017, the NDC applied to register, but because of the logo of the party, it was not pushed through. That was why if you check the INEC page today and you look at the NDC, you will say national chairman by court order, national secretary by court order. So it was court that brought up the establishment of the NDC. So people are now saying that 31 political parties or interest group applied for registration. Why did you approve only NDC that did not even came through the last 10? So there are a lot of issues around the leadership and the ownership of that party.
Of the party.
So if Jonathan eventually consults and then decides to agree, remember that just last week Sunday, Peter Obi and Rabi Musa Kwankwaso moved into the NDC. So if it's a sounded conversation, the question would be, between Peter Obi and Jonathan, who would likely get the ticket? And you know the answer to that question already, right? Because of the acceptance of Jonathan 6 years as president, but the legibility of Jonathan is also going to be challenged in court already.
So I want you to predict. Do you think he would take that step? Often said
you push a lot of things to me these days that I don't even doubt. You've always told me that in Nigerian politics everything is possible, and I believe it. I mean, the temptation of getting back to Aso Rock, Nigerian president is the most powerful president in the world, because the powers you have, even the American president don't have it.
And right now he's so internationally
He's
recognized.
global.
He's
an ambassador.
leading, all sorts,
So if Jonathan gets in the
Africa,
ring,
Asia, and all of that.
but again, the legitimacy of his candidacy is also going to be debated. The 2022 Electoral Act says that you cannot be sworn in more than twice.
Yes.
So
So
he
the
was
question is,
sworn in
was
to
he
complete the tenure of
for
his village
Yar'Adua?
Yar'Adua. Then he contested in 2011 and won. So the question is this: is he eligible to contest again? Will he be sworn in for the third time? And I'm sure that the court will make a judgment about that next week Friday. And with the way the court has been moving these days, you can almost be sure that they will not make that judgment. They will adjourn it. And the adjournment of that means that by this Sunday, the 10th of May,
Which is the
everybody
deadline.
must be a member of a political party. So the question is this: is Jonathan already a member of the NDC that we don't know? Is he still in the PDP?
Has he been consulting behind?
If he's going to contest on what political party? The APC, the ADC, the PDP, or the NDC? Because all of that had to be decided between yesterday and Sunday, which is the 10th of May. So we keep our fingers crossed.
But Jonathan actually left when the ovation was loudest.
And
if
there's
you ask
nothing
me.
as good as that.
And for me,
enjoy
the
your
one
status.
reason why he drew me close, it's the statement, that singular statement that he made, that
His
the
ambition.
blood, no, that yes, his ambition
It's
would-
not worth
is
the
not
blood
worth
of
the
any
blood of
Nigerian.
any Nigerian. I mean, how many people would think in that way and would, act in that way? And because he really had the power of incumbency,
He could
have
have.
manipulated,
He could have done
done
anything.
all sorts of things, but he just said, you know what, I'll just let it be, because he knows that if he insisted I was going to stay, a lot of lives would have been lost. So yeah, but I really wish that he wouldn't come back.
He should just stay.
He should just
I
remain
think he should just
an elder statesman for consultation, and all of those things.
But the temptation is huge.
Well, I don't know how.
Especially if the court pushes that he can contest. In this contest, now the court can say the last time it happened, the Electoral Act of 2022 had not been enacted yet, while it was sworn in the previous time. So that's what his lawyers will push to. Then secondly, it depends on who is pushing this agenda. This may be the voice of Jacob and the hand of Esau. And somebody that says, I must make sure that Peter Obi does not get on the ballot.
Exactly.
So if he's going to the NDC, Jonathan go and collect the ticket of the NDC. A lot of things can happen.
Really?
And so if you look at the last few months, the number of times that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had met Jonathan, or Jonathan had visited the president in the State House, is about 4 times. So
Yeah,
this
so
could be
you
a
never
case
really
of
can.
this
Yeah.
place that Obi is going to.
It may be a spoiler.
So it depends on who
It
is
may be-
pushing it.
Yeah, but I just hope that the likes of Jonathan would not allow themselves to be used by anybody, for any agenda. Shouldn't push anybody's agenda. If he's interested, he should just come out on his own, respectably. But I wish he wouldn't.
He should stay. He should just.
I really wish
Baba
he
should
wouldn't.
just enjoy his status. He's
really
enjoying
wish
his
he wouldn't,
retirement.
honestly.
And he should just rest.
Okay, first holdco profit rockets 72.2% in the first quarter. And that's First Holdco PLC. Well, okay, good. Primary elections, APC consensus, push. Faces resistance in states. Okay, and the riders for that story, Yobe, Ogun, Sokoto, Plateau, Kwara aspirants oppose consensus and demand competitive race. I said that anyway. You can't really know what is in other people's minds, and as much as they may be smiling and agreeing with you, inside them, there may be some
reaction.
yes, and I knew that this was going to happen. So, and I think that's even the right thing to happen. What is this consensus thing? I mean, let us have a competition, Okay, Ondo, Benue, or your gear up for primaries as Tinubu, governors, aspirants submit nomination forms. APC adopts direct primary for presidential ticket. That's the much we can find on the Punch newspaper. Um, yeah, that's really it.
I don't know which other presidential ticket APC is approving, because the body language is clear. They've even had some waiver for president. He's not going to go through the regular screening. Almost all of the 32 state APC governors signed his nomination form. Senior members of the National Assembly assigned his nomination form. So I'm trying to understand what their primary is. Well,
But you know, when I read the story, did I pay it any mind?
no, you did not.
For
Okay,
those
let's look at
reasons.
the Vanguard. The first hold coast profit story is also on the Vanguard, reporting that the profit rocketed 72.2% in quarter one. Well, we're on the Vanguard newspaper. Shettima submits Tinubu's nomination form. Vice President Kazim Shettima, with members of the Progressive Governors Forum during the submission of President Bola Tinubu's presidential nomination and expression of interest form at the National Working Committee of the APC in Abuja yesterday. Remember, the president is not in Nigeria yet, and his nomination form was picked up, signed, and returned in absentia. For xenophobia, federal government moves to evacuate Nigerians from South Africa. To where? Okay. Page 5 of the Vanguard, if you're interested in that story. Economists caution against blanket sanctions on South Africa's companies. Targeting South African companies is inappropriate, counterproductive. Muda Yusuf is advising the government. It amounts to economic self-sabotage. Onyedikachi, Nigeria can't afford to jeopardize future partnership with SA. And Doran is also saying that. So all of the economists are saying that we shouldn't close down the businesses. They will definitely have economic consequences. 2027, Jonathan Way's presidential comeback. As Senate makes U-turn, rescinds controversial rule barring four-term senators. We had that conversation off the camera. 6 governors, 15 ex-governors. Late Akeredolu's wife, Betty, joins 11th Senate race.
Wow.
Yeah, and she picked up her form to represent Imo West Senatorial District. Of course, she's originally from Imo State. Nigeria now working. Shettima insists, submits Tinubu's presidential nomination form.
What do we expect him to say? That it isn't working.
It's working.
But that's what that's all.
I mean, when you have your private residence renovated for 22 billion,
So
it's working.
exactly, is it not working?
Is it not working?
It's working now.
Taraba, how I'm handling local government autonomy. That is coming from the governor of Taraba State, His Excellency Governor Agbu Kefas. Oil price drops. Marketers keep pump price high. Okay. I don't know, maybe you're following the Senator Adams Oshiomhole and the Godswill Akpabio's face-off at the Senate.
I'm following it small. You know, because let me tell you the truth. I'm following it.
I know you see, as long as Akpabio is involved, I see, and it's okay. So I'm following the context of that conversation keenly, and this is why. I've liked Adams Oshiomhole while he was the leader of the Nigerian Labour Congress in 1999 into our first, first experiment of this democracy under Obasanjo. And he was obviously a very strong and bold and fierce leader. He held the NLC wholly, and he gave them that respect. If they want to go on strike, the entire nation is shut down. Schools are closed, hospitals are closed, Nupeng is not lifting petrol. And in a day or two, Obasanjo is running around and calling Adams Oshiomhole, to discuss. But a lot changed towards the end of his tenure when he decentralized the NLC, so that the unity they had that he enjoyed was broken. So if the NMA is going on strike, NUT can continue none of their business. So when he became governor, he had his issues. National chairman of the APC was removed by a world chairman. And so he's always had that voice in the Senate. So what Adams Oshiomhole is saying is this, that Godswill Akpabio, you cannot wake up one day, the same house rule that Saraki used and the Senate was successful, the same house rule that David Mark used and the Senate was successful. Who are you to want to change it? Because there are words on the street that 6 current governors and 15 former governors are aspiring to come into the Senate. By the way, the Senate is their retirement home. They just come in there and enjoy more money and just enjoy whatever comes
And enjoy
with
the
it.
power.
Exactly. But
And enjoy immunity.
Yes, Adams Oshiomhole is now saying, listen, if you say we should alter this thing, then you yourself,
you don't deserve
to be president of the Senate.
You need to move.
Because what they are saying is this, that if you have not spent 8 straight years in the Senate, you cannot be a principal officer. That means you cannot be Senate president, you cannot be the deputy Senate president, majority or minority leader. And what that means is that if the likes of Hope Uzodinma is coming back to the Senate, he will not be able to contest for Senate president. But the question is this: Godswill Akpabio himself, has he spent 8 years in the Senate? He was a senator. He left the Senate. He went to become the national chairman or the minister for Niger Delta. Then he came back. So the fear is this: that if Tinubu does not want Akpabio again in 2027, if Hope Uzodinma is coming, Akpabio would have to step aside. And so immediately the body language of the APC showed that they don't want it. They've withdrawn that clause. And I like the fact that there will be problem in the house. Serious problem.
You asked me a question. You said, am I following it? You won't even...
No.
I don't this I don't even want to answer.
So that people will know
but you
the
put it
body
out there
language
for
of the
how?
story.
I mean, so you've answered the question. You've told us the story. There was no need to have asked me the question. But I'll just add a little to what you said. You know, I think that the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, should be more careful in taking decisions and in making statements. I don't think he processes the things that he does and says. And for a leader, a good leader at that, we expect a whole lot more. This man has fallen below expectation. Well, I don't know, that depends on below expectation.
Were there expectations
is relative. Exactly, depends on who's speaking. You know, because some people never expected anything, others expected some performance, some level of performance. And Nigerians in general, because you have been made the Senate president, well, don't forget that anything that's really offered on a platter of gold is not really valued per se. You know, he knows how he became the Senate president. Wasn't really expected. And so perhaps that's probably why he's not able, you know, to handle his position properly as a true leader, as a patriotic leader, putting into consideration the members of the Senate and Nigerians at large. He's always about himself. And in doing that, you know, he's shooting his own self in the foot because he's not thinking the process through. And how embarrassing for you to have made a statement and say, change the laws. Didn't you think about it before you said it, sir? I kind of feel embarrassed on his behalf. And now you're turning back to say, no, we're going to revert to status quo. It's only Nigeria, only in this country that things like this happen. Okay, let's just go on with, are you still on the Vanguard newspaper?
No, we're done.
We're done? Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at the Daily Sun and the banner headline of APC governors will deliver Tinubu in 2027, and that's coming from Uzodinma. Well, Uzodinma would say anything to make sure that his own ambitions
It's
to
protected.
come to reality, you come to light, irrespective of whether statements have been made and reversed, you know. Of course, he has his own agenda. So, of course, what else do you expect him to do? It's politics. IMF fears AI cyber attacks could cripple global financial system. I'm consulting widely on 2027 presidential race. And that's coming from President Goodluck Jonathan. Of course, the writer he charges supporters to get voters' card before asking him to contest. And well, looking at it from this angle, you know, from this report, okay, I'm thinking that Jonathan may not come out.
He should. What's he coming out?
No, I'm just thinking. I may be wrong, but I hope I'm right, because he's saying he's charging his supporters to get voters' card before asking him to contest. Perhaps he's just trying to push them off, or perhaps he's trying to get them prepared to vote for him when he comes out. Well, you never can tell. Like I said, Nigeria, anything
I'm
happens.
not sure because the political structure that he enjoyed is no longer existing. While he was the governor, while he was the president, the entire PDP structure was intact. The political terrain we have now is so toxic. The political terrain we have now is so bastardized, is so polarized. So if you really want to maintain his elder statesman status, Baba should rest.
Baba should rest. So
He should
and
rest.
we don't even know what's been happening to Patience Jonathan. She's been on the
He's enjoying herself.
She's been on the
looking so
down
good
low.
now.
Really?
I saw.
What are you saying?
I saw.
So what have you just said? Okay.
She's looking really good, really
Okay,
beautiful.
so just hold it there.
No, the stress of
No,
being the first lady is no longer on her neck, and then all her statements being monitored
This
and
ma-
turned into chaos.
That is the profession. If you're a broadcaster, if you're a journalist, you just have to be on top of your game.
Of course.
Well done. That's
She's looking-
chop knuckle.
Exactly.
Nice one. Very nice one. All right. Senate moves to cut off tribunal presidential election litigation. The rider for that is fresh amendment approves Federal High Court, appeal court's jurisdiction for pre-election matters. Gunmen abduct 6 Nasarawa varsity students. Are they not tired? Beram youths fault police on mass burial killing and say denial missing. I don't quite get that. Let me take that again so that it will be a bit clearer. Beram youths.
Birom.
Okay, Birom.
Yeah,
You know that's your hometown, so you'll be able to pronounce it better than I. But thank you anyway for the correction. Birom youths fault police on mass burial killing and say denial misleading. Okay, court convicts ex-power minister Maman in absentia over 33.8 billion naira fraud and order his arrest. And finally, from the Daily Sun, Senate makes a U-turn on standing rules for electing presiding officers and retains previous positions. Even while I'm reading this, I'm kind of feeling shy, but I don't know how the one who started it feels at the moment, because almost some of these people don't even have any conscience, if you ask me. All right, let's move to the next newspaper.
The Guardian.
So the Guardian.
All of the stories are actually picking the first old coal profits, headline. So, Senate reverses controversial eligibility rule for presiding officers. Page 3 of the Guardian is picking that story. Nigeria protests killings in South Africa as Tinubu orders crisis notification units. Are also on page 3. Reps launch probe into debt owed federal government, rising building material costs. Okay. I like Guardian, by the way. So, on the NFF sit-tight syndrome, this is about sport development in Nigeria. How skilled process makes life benchers of football administrators. So we have chairmen of the Nigerian Football Federation that will sit tight, especially state chairmen. Some of them have been there for 15 years, 20 years, and there's no development whatsoever. Okay, so if you're interested in that story, just get page 4 and page 5 of the Guardian for yourself. Dozens.
So why are you promoting the Guardian newspaper?
I just mean every other newspaper have their specials, just like Nigerian Tribune gives us at the health tip.
Yeah.
I think Guardian on Tuesdays and Fridays always have a very, very detailed, comprehensive story around their front page. So, dozens feared killed as villages razed in Kogi communal clash. Nimet warns of flash flooding in 19 states. Partners Neymar on action plan. Well, I hope Lagos is part of those states.
Well, I just also hope that the Lagos State governor, he's been known for performance, and I hope his people bring it to his attention if he doesn't know already. And I really hope that he will do something about it, especially the Lekki axis. Oworonshoki also could be really flooded. Ikeja, Obafemi Awolowo way, that one too could be horrible. Ikorodu Road, that's another one. So I really hope that he's on top of the game, because Lagosians are so used to enjoying to some extent. We hope that he will remember them again.
Okay, on the Jonathan story, 2027, Jonathan explores options as court fixes today for suit on his eligibility. That is on page 7. ADC commits to court ruling, dissociates itself from proposed state congresses. That is on the Guardian newspaper. And Nubank seeks transparency, timely execution as federal government moves to revamp Warri and Port Harcourt refineries. And the last story on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, and that is on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. APC paves Tinubu's 2027 run as opposition battles INEC timelines and lawsuits. That is much that the Guardian is also giving us today.
All right, let's look at the Nigerian Tribune. First holdco profit rockets 72.2% in the first quarter. We already read that story. Uncertainty over Jonathan's links to 2027 presidential contest. Contesting for his presidency is not a computer game. I will consult widely, he says, as youths rally at his Abuja residence. Adds that Nigeria has the highest voter apathy. Court to hear suit on his eligibility today. Billionaire drug baron and 2 female kingpins fall in global sting operation. Electoral Act, new amendments block forum shopping. National Assembly governorship, pre-election cases to start at Federal High Court. Presidency opens at Appeal Court, terminates at Supreme Court. Court convicts ex-power minister Sela over 33.8 billion fraud. Defections hit PDP in Oyo. Aspirants lead exodus. Party members fill APM forms. Uneasy calm over Adekombi as Makinde's choice. Owosheni resigns as special advisor on security. And finally, from the Tribune, new oxygen gel could help prevent amputations. And that's coming from scientists. Okay, can we just look at the next newspaper and just take the stories that we haven't read in other
That's the Nation. Okay. With a screaming headline, Shettima, Nigeria is walking. Vice President leads APC senior figures to submit Tinubu's nomination form. Ex-Power Minister Mamman convicted for 33.8 billion naira fraud. Well, there's a picture of Senator Adams Oshiomhole right there with the story, Senate adjusts amendment to presiding officers election rule. That is on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Federal government demand anti-xenophobic action from South Africa as Femi Fani-Kayode redeployed to SC as High Commissioner. I saw that story yesterday and I was happy. He was initially deployed to Germany, and there were rumors that the German government rejected him because of some of his outbursts on social media.
I was going to say, I mean, his temperament, he needs to put it in check. He has anger issues.
Serious one.
And when you want to represent a country as big as Nigeria, you have to represent us well. So that means you need to speak to your anger issues. You know, I'm not excited. I know that, you know, when he is calm, or if he is calm, he will do a fantastic job. You know, there is no doubt about that. But Femi Fani-Kayode really needs to work on his anger issues.
But he has been redeployed to South Africa now. So maybe at this moment, some big temperament is needed at this moment to take charge and be very emphatic on these decisions. I hope he resumes early and step into it. And I like the fact that he's stepping into when the oil is hot.
Yeah.
So we can actually get some desired results from that. So, yeah, I think that's much we have on the Nation newspaper this morning.
All right, so right now we'll take a break, and when we return, we'll go to our discussion segments. We're going to be discussing 3 very important topics. So please just keep calm. It's a rainy day. Just get yourself a cup of coffee, you know, and then you can have fun watching the program. Please stay tuned.